Hi friends, welcome back. I am so excited for this video. So excited, in fact, that I accidentally deleted the intro. So this is take 2. So I filmed this video about a week ago and I kind of remember what I said. I was just so excited. You will see me in a little bit in a different outfit and a different background because, again, it was filmed a week ago and I only kept the second half of that video. So here we go again. I just want to share my knitting journey and hopefully it's of encouragement to somebody, because if it's one thing that I learned this year is that I don't regret learning to knit. So to start at the beginning of my journey, it was January 1st, 2025. And that was one of the goals I set in December of last year, was that beginning of this year, I was going to learn to knit. So I did just that. On January 1st, we took down our Christmas tree and all of our decorations. And after lunch, I decided today is the day. Today is the day I learned to knit. Knitting is something that I always admired. Like, I would look at something that was like hand knit and it was just so beautiful to me. And you know, I looked up to women who knew how to knit, and it was something I wish I knew how to do. So because it was so special to me and in my heart, knitting was super intimidating to me. Like, the fact that I was like, I'm gonna learn to knit, just thinking about learning to knit, that was just so intimidating to me because, again, it was something I admired, it was something I loved, and it was one of those things in my head where it was like, sometimes it's better not knowing how things are made. I don't know. That's just how I was thinking, and it was so intimidating, but I was like, that's it. I'm doing it. I'm learning. So January 1st, I pulled up this video, and before, you know, I even got to the actual knitting, the casting on was so traumatizing for me. It honestly took me most of the afternoon to learn. It probably took me about 4 hours to be able to like cast on, not just cast on, but like get the first few rows down, because I kept adding to my rows. Like, I would start with, I think it's 55. I was making a scarf and I think I cast on 55 stitches, and for some reason when I was getting to row like 5 or 7, there was like 60, and I was like, what's happening? So I had to undo everything, cast everything back on, start again, and I was increasing and I had no idea what was happening. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos, like, why am I adding? You know, I think I even went on Reddit, and the advice that I got was slow down and actually pay attention. Like, actually physically, as you're, knitting, pay attention and slow down. Like, that was it. And I was like, okay. So I did that, and eventually I got it right. But then that kind of gave me a little bit of PTSD and I kept, checking and recounting every like 2 rows. I was like, counting again. But yeah, that's kind of how I that was the first day that I learned. Yeah, I just stuck to it and I kept practicing every single day that same stitch over and over and over again. And it got to the point where I felt confident in that single stitch, but then it kind of got a little bit too repetitive. And at the beginning, it also felt like the project was just not growing. Like, I felt like I worked on it for so long and I barely would add like half an inch to the project. And in crochet, that is not a thing. Like, in crochet, you can advance, especially for a width that's about 10 inches, like, you're gonna add on fairly quickly. And this scarf, I felt like it was just going to take forever. Like, I was never going to finish it. I kind of had that moment of like, I'm just going to give up. This is hard. Like, this doesn't grow. I'm used to crochet. Like, in crochet, I can finish projects in a day sometimes. Like, what is this? Like, knitting takes forever. Well, it was taking forever because I was new, and it just does take a little bit longer than crochet, but after a while, it does grow. Like, you do finish your projects. I think I was also focusing on the wrong thing. I was focusing on finishing the project so that I could be done and I could say I did it, but I wasn't focusing on the benefits of knitting, you know. Knitting has shown it does actually lower your stress levels and it helps you. So the point of knitting is not to finish the project ASAP most of the time. It's to enjoy the process, to enjoy the repetition, to enjoy just working on a singular project at that time, you know. And I was missing that point at the beginning. I mean, now I see it, now I love it, right? But at the beginning it just felt so hard, and I was just becoming very discouraged. So what I ended up doing was I went back online and I found this, I think I just Googled like how to learn to knit or something like that. And I found this online class. It's a very smart on the part of I don't know her name, but of this teacher, because she literally named her website and her page Learn to Knit. All that, it will be here. But I clicked on it. I saw that her class was pretty affordable for everything that she said she was going to offer in that class. And I told my husband, like, I'm just gonna buy this class and learn, and you know, learn to knit, because I think I need a little bit more guidance than a YouTube video. So I bought the class, and I kid you not, something about that class just unlocked something in my brain where all of a sudden the fear and intimidation of knitting was just gone. Like, gone. I made like the little pattern, or it's like these swatches that she has you work on, you know, to try the different techniques and stuff. And just realizing in reality how easy it actually is to knit. Like, you literally just have to follow the pattern, right, to see what stitches you need. But once you learn to knit and purl, you're good. Like, you're good. Once I realized how easy she made it, I was ready. I felt ready. I was like, yes, I'm gonna buy the pattern I have always wanted to make. And that was the Sophie scarf by Petite Knit. Apparently this is the scarf everybody who learns to knit, it's like one of the first projects. So I was no different. And I made my first Sophie scarf. Again, I abandoned my other scarf, the pink one. It's still abandoned, but I made my first Sophie scarf. I learned so much in this scarf. I learned how to read a pattern, first of all. I learned how to change the pattern a little bit because I had to make mine longer, because her sizings, it's in her name. It's Petite Knit. They're for petite people. So I'm okay with that. I just added to the pattern and it worked out great. I love it. So I bought the pattern first. I read it and immediately was like, oh crap, like it's way over my head. I have no idea what half of these things mean. Like, what did I get myself into? I felt like I had so much false confidence at that point, and the discouragement just kind of started to like hit again. So I went to my local yarn store and I just walked in, and I think Emily, she's the owner, I think she just saw like the fear in my eyes. And I was like, I'm learning to knit. I just bought this pattern and I have no idea what I'm doing. Can you please help me? And I'm like, I don't even know what like all the like this yarn means, you know? And she just kind of took me under her wing and she's like, yes, like I'll help you. And she explained to me the yarns and stuff, and she showed me the needles and everything, and I picked the color I wanted and she sent me on my way. Like, she's like, okay. And she let me know that there was knit nights on Wednesdays, so I was more than welcome to go. And, you know, if I ever got stuck, she could help me out. So, you know, I worked on this. I became so hyper focused, and I ended up making this in a week. This is the pattern. What makes the Sophie scarf, I'll show it looks better on the red one, but what makes the Sophie scarf different is the I-cord edge. But honestly, I had no idea what the whole I-cord thing was, and I just went on YouTube. Any stitch I don't know, I just type in that stitch onto YouTube, and there's so many videos of, you know, people just showing what that stitch is. And that was it. That was how I learned. That was how I learned to knit. I became obsessed with this one, that I wanted to make it again. So I made a second Sophie scarf, this one in red. On this one you can see the I-cord better. I just think it's because it's a better color for it. But that edge right here, that's considered an I-cord. And yeah, this is the Sophie scarf. I don't think I mentioned the reason why I wanted to learn to knit was also because I wanted to learn, like my main overall focus was I wanted to learn to knit socks. Socks has been something that I've always, like, that was the reason why I wanted to learn to knit, was to make socks. So after I finished this pattern, I went back to the yarn store and I asked Emily again, like, okay, my ultimate goal is to learn to knit socks. I know I'm not there yet, but what's another project I can make that will get me closer to learn to make socks? Like, I need to learn more techniques, you know? So she pulled out this big old binder they have of free patterns and she gave me a beanie. I worked on that beanie. We got me the needles I needed, the yarn I needed, and I got to work. I don't have that beanie because my husband has it and I think he took it to work. He wears it. He's been wearing it this whole season. I worked on that beanie and he loved it. It turned out great. I did mess up on a few stitches and I know where they're at, so I can see them, but he doesn't. I mean, nobody can see them. I can, but it's okay. And then I became kind of obsessed with making beanies. So then I bought a different pattern and I made myself a beanie. So this is my beanie. This is the Rebel Heart beanie. So it's like super long and then you have to fold it so that like around your ears it's warmer because it's thicker. So it's folded twice over. This is my beanie that I made myself. And I became so obsessed that I bought more yarn to make myself another beanie I'm going to use the same pattern as this one. But I'm going to be making myself another beanie. After that, I went back and Emily said, you know what, Pam? I think you are ready to make socks. But at this point, I've been waiting what feels like so many years to learn to knit, to make these socks, that I was like, I don't think I'm ready. Like, I don't think I'm emotionally ready to start socks yet. In my ideal world, I want to be making socks when it's snowing. So I'm waiting for our first snow day so I can make my socks, or I can learn to make my socks. In the meantime, I decided I wanted to make myself like this like pullover vest. So that is actually what I am working on. This is my current project right now. I don't know if I picked the right size, honestly. I don't know if it's going to be like huge on me, if it's going to be small. I have no idea. But right now I'm working on the length now. And then after I'm done with the length, I think still have to add like 6 more inches at least. I'm going to start working on the, like, I don't know what it's called, but like the neck and then the sleeves and stuff. So this is where I'm at right now with my pullover vest. And honestly, I'm loving it. I have been going to the knit nights again because there's so many talented women that go to these knit nights that they're regulars there, and they're all so welcoming and they're all so eager to also share what they know. So whenever I have a question, I just go, and any of them, they're like, yes, like, let's do this. And they sit down with me and they show me and they, you know, they'll do it for me and then they undo what they did and they're like, here, now you try, you know. And that's just the kind of learner I am too, where it's like, okay, like, let me see you and let me try. That has been so fundamental for my learning to knit. Going to these knit nights and also just being inspired, right, by all these women. Like, everybody takes their own projects and just seeing all the beautiful things they make is wild. That's currently where I'm at with my knitting journey. So I hope and pray that if you are feeling like you want to learn to knit and you've always felt like you want to learn to knit, please learn to knit. It is intimidating and it can be kind of hard and frustrating. Well, very frustrating at the beginning, but trust me, it pays off. Like, once it clicks, it clicks. Trust me. What I am going to be learning next is how to incorporate 2 yarns together, because technically for this beanie it's supposed to be 2 yarns. It's supposed to be this and then this together, but I didn't feel confident enough in my skills to like add too much. So the way I've been approaching, and this is my recommendation for anybody learning to knit, is like add 1 new skill level with every project that you make. So for example, like the Sophie scarf, I was learning how to like increase and decrease in the Sophie scarf. And then when I worked on my beanies, the first beanie is I learned how to work in the round. And then for this beanie, I learned the magic circle. So it's still technically, you're still working in the same stitch, but it is a little bit different. I personally loved the magic circle. A lot of people don't like it. It's just one of those things you either like or don't, and you can knit either way. You can knit in the round or you can knit with the magic circle or magic loop. I think magic circle is crochet. I think I mean the magic loop. And with this pullover vest that I'm learning to make, I am incorporating in the round. I'm also incorporating the magic loop. I'm going to be doing that for the sleeves. And what I learned, the new skill I learned with this one was how to add, or like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know the technical terms, but what I learned in this one was how to attach. So for example, like I did part of the back first, and I increased here, and then you cut the yarn and your stitches are like floating. You have to attach them to like, you have to pass another yarn through the like open stitches, and you tie it off so that they don't come undone. And then I had to pick up the stitches. You could kind of see the border, I think. Here, you can see it here. I had to pick up the stitches and start the front. So then I also had to increase on this side and this side. There was a moment with this project where it has felt very overwhelming because there was a lot of like just loose ends, literally. And I remember in one knit night, I talked to Emily and I was like, Emily, is this one of the things where I just have to trust the process because I'm so overwhelmed and I have a feeling it's not going to work out. And she looked at it, and you know, she's a pro, so she looked at it, she looked at my stitches and stuff, and she was like, no, like this is what it's supposed to look like at this stage in your pattern, like you're doing good, like this is what you want. And I was like, okay, because my anxiety is a little bit high right now because it looks like a mess. And she was very encouraging, and she was like, no, it's great, like you're doing good, just yeah, you have to trust the process, just keep at it. And I was like, okay. So now that it's like fully, you know, I'm like working on the last part of this project, I'm feeling a little bit better about it. But there was a moment I did freak out, and thankfully Emily was like, no. All of that to share, if you really want to learn to knit, please do it. Invest in either online classes. So if you're okay doing classes online at home at your own pace, if that works for you, I highly recommend the one that I did. I'll link it below. But if learning in person is better for you, I recommend going to a local yarn store and asking about their classes. Again, I have 3 local ones to me and all of them offer it, so I'm just gonna assume that all the yarn shops have beginning crochet and knitting classes. So sign up for those classes, trust me. The people in the yarn community are so welcoming. Like it's been amazing. I love it. Like I said, it's just been amazing. The community has been embracing. And also like there will be moments of discouragement, but you just honestly just have to power through. Like just power through. And again, if you get stuck, if you go to any local yarn shop, they are going to help you. Like they will help you. Even if you didn't buy the yarn there, even if, you know, none of that, like they will help you. If you want to learn to knit, please let this be your encouragement and that final little push that you need to learn to knit, because it's worth it. It's a skill that it's never going to go to waste, believe me. And it's so fulfilling also at the end of every project. Like when I finished this beanie, I don't know, it just felt so good, and so like I just felt like my time was spent so productively because it's something I can wear, right? Like I can wash it and rewear it as many years as I want it, you know, like as I want to wear it. Please, please, please learn to knit. If that's what you feel like you've always wanted. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. And if you yourself are a knitter and are watching this, please, please, please leave some words of encouragement for any other person who wants to learn to knit. Please, please, please. I would love if it was filled with words of encouragement for other beginners. And if you yourself like know of any online classes or any pages that are great for beginners, please link them down below. That way, you know, this video becomes a resource to anybody who is learning to knit or wants to learn to knit. That way they can see how awesome the knitting community is and how welcoming it has been, because I feel like I've been embraced in my local community, and I honestly wish that on everybody who wants to learn to knit. So yeah. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.